He woke with a gasp. His heart pounded against his ribs, a frantic drum in the silence. He was lying on something cold and hard, his body stiff and aching. Where was he? He couldn't remember. Darkness pressed in from all sides, heavy and absolute. Panic coiled in his gut, cold and sharp. He sat up, his hand brushing against something smooth and metallic. He recoiled instinctively, fear prickling at the edges of his mind. He was trapped. He could feel it in the tightness of his chest, the way the darkness seemed to hum with a life of its own. He had to get out. He had to escape. He scrambled to his feet, his arms outstretched, stumbling blindly in the darkness. His hands met a smooth, cold wall. He ran his fingers along its surface, his heart sinking with each passing moment. It was endless, unbroken. Panic swelled in his chest, threatening to consume him. He slid down against the wall, his face buried in his hands. A low groan escaped his lips, a primal sound of fear and despair. He was alone, utterly and terrifyingly alone. Time lost all meaning. Hours bled into days, or perhaps it was only minutes. The darkness was a living thing, pressing in on him, suffocating him. He paced the confines of his prison, his footsteps echoing hollowly in the silence. His thoughts raced, a chaotic jumble of fear and confusion. He searched for a way out, an escape from the suffocating blackness. He pushed against the walls, his hands aching, his efforts futile. He screamed until his voice was hoarse, but the only response was the mocking echo of his own despair. He was trapped, imprisoned in this endless void. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, a dull ache that intensified with every passing moment. Thirst parched his throat, making it difficult to swallow. He had no food, no water, no way to escape the slow, agonizing death that awaited him. The darkness seemed to press closer, whispering insidious suggestions in his ear. He sank to the floor, his body trembling with exhaustion and fear. He was losing his mind. He could feel it slipping away, the edges blurring, reality fracturing. He closed his eyes, desperate for oblivion, for an escape from this torment. He saw things in the darkness. Flickering shapes, shadows that danced at the edge of his vision. He heard whispers, faint and indistinct, pronouncements of his doom. Were they real or figments of his unraveling mind? He couldn't be sure. He tried to rationalize the hallucinations, to cling to the last vestiges of his sanity. He told himself it was the isolation, the darkness, the lack of food and water that was playing tricks on his mind. But the shadows persisted, their whispers growing louder, more insistent. He saw his name etched on the wall, scrawled in a language he couldn't decipher. He heard the echo of footsteps, felt the brush of something cold against his skin. He was being watched, hunted by something he couldn't see, couldn't comprehend. He retreated into himself, his mind a fortress against the encroaching madness. He clung to the memories of his past, to the faces of loved ones, desperately trying to hold on to something real, something tangible in this realm of shadows and whispers.